Good evening, everyone. Psychological barriers such as stereotype, threat, and implicit bias can influence intelligence and academic performance, particularly for minority students in colleges. Cloud Steele's work on stereotype threat demonstrates that if students are reminded that they belong to a group for which there is a negative stereotype, such as the stereotype that black students do not do well on standardized tests, this can actually lead to anxiety and decreased performance. This is not because the student is incapable. It is because the anxiety of fulfilling a stereotype can interfere with concentration, memory, and confidence. Russell McLean expands on this concept with his research on implicit bias in the college classroom. He discusses how professors and even classmates may subconsciously treat students of color differently, perhaps by not calling on them as much, presuming that they're not ready or challenging their intelligence. This type of bias perpetuates the internalized sentiment that I don't belong here, which can quietly erode a student's academic self-confidence over time. And then we add Dr. Voorhees' explanation of cultural differences in communication. The image becomes even more vivid. For instance, in certain cultures, it is a sign of respect to avoid eye contact. But in a Western classroom, it may be wrongly interpreted as a lack of interest, such as subtle misconceptions lead professors to make incorrect assumptions about students' intelligence or effort, again exacerbating stereotype, threat, and implicit bias. So what can teachers do to minimize these barriers? To begin with, they can use affirmation-based instructional strategies such as having students reflect on values prior to a test. Research by Cloud Steele demonstrates that even a simple writing exercise can eliminate stereotype threat and enhance performance since it reaffirms self-worth. Second, teachers need implicit bias training and education on varied communication styles. That way they can more accurately interpret student behavior and respond more fairly. For instance, rather than presuming an introverted student isn't interested, they might check in privately with the student to build a more positive relationship. In brief, by recognizing stereotype threat, confronting our own prejudices, and learning to value cultural differences in communication, we can contribute to a classroom that generally fosters the potential of all students. Thank you.